Soviet flag, with its striking red background and golden hammer and sickle, was a flag once used by the Soviet Union that ruled most parts of Eurasia from 1922 up until its downfall in 1991. This flag once stood for the idea that everyday workers and farmers were united and in control under communist rule. In the design of the flag, the hammer background symbolized the urban industrial workers, whilst the sickle, the agricultural workers, and the red on the background symbolized the blood of the workers and farmers shed during the Russian Revolution of 1917. But behind these bold colors lay the dark and violent legacy. It flew over a regime responsible for mass executions, forced labor camps known as gulags, and state-engineered famines like the Holodomor in Ukraine that killed millions. Under this flag, political dissidents vanished, religious freedoms were crushed, and uprisings in Eastern Europe were violently suppressed with tanks and bloodshed. After the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, many former satellite states like Ukraine, Poland, Lithuania, and Latvia banned the flag outright, seeing it not as a symbol of equality, but of occupation, terror, and lost national identity. These countries passed strict decommunization laws to prevent the return of that painful history. Today, the Soviet flag is banned or restricted in multiple nations, not just for what it represented, but because of the unimaginable violence, fear, and suffering it brought to millions under its shadow. The Nazi flag, with its red background, white circle, and black swastika, was adopted by the National Socialist German Workers' Party in 1920 and became Germany's national flag in 1935 under Adolf Hitler's regime. Designed to symbolize Aryan supremacy and national unity, it became an emblem of the Nazi regime's oppressive policies, including the Holocaust, aggressive militarism, and the suppression of dissent. Following the fall of Nazi Germany in 1945, the Allied Control Council abolished all Nazi symbols, including the swastika flag, as part of denazification efforts. Today, the display of Nazi symbols is banned or restricted in several countries, including Germany, Austria, France, and Switzerland, where such symbols are associated with hate speech and incitement to violence. Despite these bans, neo-Nazi and white supremacist groups continue to use the Nazi flag and its symbols to promote their ideologies. For instance, during the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, Virginia, participants displayed Nazi flags alongside other hate symbols, highlighting the ongoing appropriation of these emblems by extremist groups. The Confederate flag, often recognized by its red field and blue cross with white stars, was originally used by the Confederate Army during the American Civil War, symbolizing the southern states that fought to preserve slavery and secede from the Union. Though it was never the official national flag of the Confederacy, it gained prominence on the battlefield and later re-emerged during the Civil Rights Movement as a symbol of defiance against racial equality. Segregationists and white supremacist groups, including the Ku Klux Klan, embraced the flag to intimidate black Americans and resist desegregation. It was flown at rallies, government buildings in southern states, and even incorporated into state flags, like Mississippi's former design. Over time, the flag became synonymous with racism, white supremacy, and hate. Today, many US institutions, including the military, NASCARs, and several state governments, have banned its display, recognizing its toxic symbolism. Despite this, it remains a favored emblem among hate groups and far-right extremists, continuing to fuel controversy and division in American society. The Israeli flag. It features a blue Star of David between two horizontal blue stripes on a white background, was officially adopted in 1948 and symbolizes the Jewish identity of the state. However, its display has been banned or restricted in several countries due to political tensions and historical conflicts. For instance, Iraq reinstated a ban on the Israeli flag in 2017, viewing its display as an affront to national sentiment and a symbol of an enemy state. Similarly, Malaysia prohibited Israeli flagged ships from docking at its ports in response to Israeli military actions in Gaza, citing violations of international law. In the Maldives, the government amended immigration laws to ban travelers holding Israeli passports, aligning with other predominantly Muslim countries that do not have diplomatic relations with Israel. These actions reflect broader regional and international disputes, where the Israeli flag is perceived not just as a national symbol, but also as representing contentious policies and conflict. Despite these bans, the flag continues to be a focal point in global demonstrations and political discourse, underscoring the deep-seated divisions and the complex role of national symbols in international relations. Ku Klux Klan banners, established in 1865, has long utilized specific banners and symbols to propagate its white supremacist supremacist ideology. Among the most recognizable is the blood drop cross, a white cross on a red background featuring a central blood drop, representing the Klan's commitment to white Christian nationalism. Another prominent symbol is the burning cross, adopted in the early 20th century, intended to intimidate and assert dominance over African Americans and other minority groups. These symbols, deeply rooted in hate and terror, have been prominently displayed during Klan rallies, cross burnings, and other acts of intimidation. While the KKK's prominence has waned, its symbols persist among various white supremacist factions. Organizations like the Anti-Defamation League have catalogued these symbols, including numeric codes such as 311, representing KKK, and 33/6, signifying the Klan's perceived historical eras. These codes and symbols are often used covertly to identify allegiance to white supremacist ideologies. Despite widespread recognition of these symbols as emblems of hate, their display is protected under the First Amendment in the United States, complicating efforts to ban them outright. White Lives Matter banner. This was a slogan with associated banners that emerged in 2015 as a direct reaction to the Black Lives Matter movement. While initially framed as a call for equality, White Lives Matter was swiftly co-opted by white supremacist and neo-Nazi groups, transforming it into a symbol of racial hatred and extremism. Organizations such as the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center have designated White Lives Matter as a hate group, citing its promotion of white nationalist ideologies and its role in recruiting members into extremist movements. The White Lives Matter banners have been prominently displayed at rallies organized by groups like the National Socialist Movement and the League of the South, often alongside other hate symbols and Confederate flags. These events have been marked by displays of firearms, racist chants, and acts of intimidation. Despite widespread condemnation, White Lives Matter slogans and banners continue to appear in various forms, including public demonstrations and online platforms, perpetuating a legacy of hate and posing ongoing challenges to efforts aimed at promoting racial equality and combating extremism. The flag of East Germany. Similar to the Soviet flag, it featured the traditional black-red-gold tricolor adorned with a hammer and compass encircled by a wreath of wheat, symbolizing the unity of workers, farmers, and intellectuals. Adopted in 1959, this emblem distinguished East Germany from West Germany, which shared the same tricolor without the emblem. In West Germany and West Berlin, the East German flag was viewed as a symbol of division and was referred to as the Spalter flag or secessionist flag. Its public display was considered unconstitutional and was banned until 1969, when the prohibition was lifted as part of easing tensions between the two German states. Following German reunification in 1990, the East German flag ceased to be an official symbol, but is not banned in modern Germany. It is legally displayed in historical contexts, museums, and by collectors. Unlike Nazi symbols, which are prohibited under German law due to their association with hate and genocide, the East German flag is not classified as a hate symbol and is not commonly used by white supremacist groups. While some debates persist regarding the public display of East German symbols, they are generally permitted unless used to promote unconstitutional ideologies. The Islamic State flag, featuring a black background with white Arabic script, has become synonymous with the group's brutal campaign of terror. The flag displays the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith, and a white circle meant to represent the Prophet Muhammad's seal, though scholars have identified this as a historical forgery. Adopted by ISIS in the early 2000s and 10s, the flag has been used extensively in propaganda videos, public executions, and territorial conquests to instill fear and assert dominance. Due to its association with terrorism, many countries have banned the public display of the ISIS flag. In the United Kingdom, displaying the flag can lead to arrest under the Terrorism Act. Germany and the Netherlands have also prohibited its use in public demonstrations. Despite these bans, the flag continues to appear in extremist contexts. For instance, in a 2025 New Year's Eve attack in New Orleans, the perpetrator flew an ISIS flag from his vehicle during a deadly assault. While the ISIS flag is not commonly used by white supremacist groups, the ISIS flag remains primarily associated with Islamist extremism and is a powerful reminder of the group's violent legacy. The Russian flag. a horizontal tricolor of white, blue and red, has been a symbol of the Russian state since its readoption in 1991, following the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Originally introduced by Tsar Peter the Great in the late 17th century, it was intended to represent Russia's emergence as a modern European power. In recent years, however, the flag has become a contentious symbol due to Russia's geopolitical actions. Following the 2022 invasion of Ukraine, the display of the Russian flag has been banned or restricted in various international contexts. For instance, the International Olympic Committee prohibited Russian athletes from competing under their national flag at the 2024 Paris Olympics. Similarly, events like the Australian Open have banned the display of Russian flags to prevent political demonstrations. Within Russia, the flag has been appropriated by various nationalist and far-right groups. Organizations such as the Russian Imperial Movement and the Rusich Group have utilized the flag alongside other symbols to promote ultranationalist and white supremacist ideologies. These groups have been linked to extremist activities both domestically and abroad, including involvement in conflicts like the war in Ukraine. Despite these associations, the Russian flag remains the official national symbol and is not classified as a hate symbol. Its display is generally legal, though its use in certain contexts may be subject to restrictions due to its political implications. The Atomwaffen division flag, translating to atomic weapons in German, was a neo-Nazi terrorist organization founded in the United States in 2015 by Brandon Russell. The group's emblem, a radiation symbol set against a black background, became a hallmark of its extremist ideology, symbolizing its commitment to violent accelerationism and the pursuit of societal collapse through terror. AWD actively recruited members through online platforms and university campuses, promoting propaganda that glorified violence and white supremacy. The organization was linked to multiple acts of violence, including murders and planned terrorist attacks, and was designated as a terrorist group by several countries, including the United Kingdom and Canada. Despite efforts to dismantle AWD, its symbols and ideology persist among white supremacist groups, serving as a rallying point for those espousing similar extremist views. The continued use of AWD's imagery underscores the enduring challenge of combating hate-driven symbolism in society. The flag of the Revolutionary Armed Forces of Colombia. This flag features a red star and a book, symbolizing Marxist-Leninist ideology and the group's commitment to armed struggle. Established in 1964, FARC engaged in a prolonged insurgency against the Colombian government, funding its operations through activities like kidnapping, extortion, and involvement in the drug trade. This led to its designation as a terrorist organization by several countries, including the United States and members of the European Union. In 2016, a peace agreement was signed, resulting in FARC's disarmament and transformation into a political party. However, dissident factions have since emerged, continuing armed activities and undermining the peace process. While the FARC flag is not widely banned, its display remains controversial due to its association with decades of violence and insurgency. North Korean flag. The flag was officially adopted on September 8, 1948. Features a wide horizontal red stripe bordered by thin white stripes and broad blue stripes, with a red 5-pointed star inside a white circle near the hoist. This design symbolizes revolutionary traditions, purity, strength, dignity, sovereignty, peace, and friendship. The red star represents socialism. The flag is prominently displayed in North Korea, including at the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun, government buildings, and during state events. It also features in large-scale displays like the Aryan mass game. In South Korea, the display of the North Korean flag is banned under the National Security Act due to its association with the North Korean regime. Internationally, the flag is not commonly used by white supremacist groups and is not listed among hate symbols by organizations like the Anti-Defamation League. While it has appeared in some propaganda contexts, its use outside of North Korea remains limited and primarily political. The Knight's flag, prominently associated with factions of the Ku Klux Klan, KKK, such as the Loyal White Knights and the White Knights, serves as a potent emblem of white supremacist ideology. These flags often incorporate traditional Klan symbols, including the blood drop cross, a white cross on a red background with a central blood drop, symbolizing the group's commitment to white Christian nationalism. Another common element is the burning cross, a symbol of intimidation and terror historically used during Klan rallies and cross burnings. In recent years, these flags have been displayed at white supremacist rallies, including the 2017 Charlottesville rally, where members of the Loyal White Knights marched alongside other hate groups, showcasing their banners as symbols of racial hatred and extremism. Despite widespread condemnation, the display of such flags continues, perpetuating the Klan's legacy of hate and posing ongoing challenges to efforts aimed at promoting racial equality and combating extremism. The Aryan Brotherhood flag, founded in 1964 at San Quentin State Prison in California, is the oldest and most notorious white supremacist prison gang in the United States. Initially formed for self-protection against black inmates, it quickly evolved into a powerful criminal organization with an estimated 15,000 to 20,000 members, both inside and outside prisons. The Aryan Brotherhood flag is a potent symbol of its ideology, often incorporating Nazi imagery such as swastikas, the number 666, and the letters AB. These symbols represent the group's commitment to white supremacy and its violent, racist ideology. Members frequently bear tattoos of these symbols, signifying their allegiance. The group's criminal activities are extensive, including drug trafficking, extortion, murder for hire, and racketeering. Its influence extends beyond prisons, with ties to organized crime syndicates such as the Gambino crime family and the Hells Angels. Despite its violent legacy, the AB continues to operate, posing significant challenges to law enforcement and communities. The Aryan Brotherhood's flag and associated symbols are recognized as hate symbols by organizations like the Anti-Defamation League and the Southern Poverty Law Center. These symbols are used to promote white supremacist ideologies and recruit new members.